The more highly democracy is developed, the more the bourgeois parliaments are subjected to the stock exchange and the bankers. What is Congress? What is Congress? In the last 3 weeks, they have declared pizza to be a vegetable so that children can have the tomato paste on a pizza as part of their lunch in the school, and it's nutritional. Why? It's at the behest of the pizza industry, the tomato industry, and the entire agribusiness industry. They have just exempted certain levels of smog from the Clean Air Act at the behest of the oil industry, the coal industry, and the industry in general. Yesterday, they just overruled a ruling by the Federal Drug Administration about the birth control pill the day after, endangering millions of young women at the behest of the right wing politically, which is driven by finance capital to divide the people. You could make much bigger examples, endless examples, of the corruption of Congress, of the Parliament, which has come under the domination of the stock exchange and the bankers, just the way Lenin said. He says, even the most democratic bourgeois state, the oppressed people at every step encounter the crying contradiction between formal equality proclaimed by that democracy, in quotes, of the capitalists, and the thousands of real limitations and subterfuges which turn the proletarians into wage slaves. And I'm not going to, he goes into foreign policy, the secret treaties, the secret dealings of the foreign ministries to create wars and oppression and so on. But he also goes into the fact that public spaces are denied to the masses. Public spaces, printing plants, paper, ways of promoting your views. And when I see the General Assemblies, I think to myself, this is an attempt to create a popular democratic form that is open to the masses, to anybody, for free, every day, any time of the day. And you don't have to buy a ticket. And you can come on your lunch hour, you can come after work, you can come anytime you like, and you can hear different points of view to attack the inequality in the United States. The form of occupation is what's dangerous to the bourgeoisie, because it's the core, the kernel of a popular movement that reflects directly the masses of people and doesn't have to go through millionaires and billionaires in Congress. So that's one way to view the struggle, that the fierce struggle that the bourgeoisie is raising against the occupation itself. Now in Boston, the one that lasted the longest, they have lost a court case, and the city is getting ready in Boston to move on the occupation in Boston after LA and every place else, Seattle, Portland, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Denver, and so on, and Philadelphia. It's the occupation that they want to stamp out because of what it could possibly grow into. So I think that we should understand the fervor with which the movement wants to hold on to the concept of occupation. But whatever happens, even if they have to back up because the relationship of forces is too strong and overwhelming because by the capitalists, the police, and the Homeland Security, who is orchestrating all of this. What is so encouraging is that it's like if you crush an occupation, it splits up and goes out and grows now in all directions. Foreclosures, shut down the ports, fight for jobs, in every different direction. It morphs into a new and broader movement which holds the greatest optimism. What we want is to help that movement, and help that movement finally see and articulate that the 1% is the capitalist exploiters. All the rest of us is the exploited and the oppressed. And make it help to focus it against the real exploitation in society, which is what leads to domination, which leads to the corruption of Congress, the corruption of the White House, the corruption of the cabinet, the growth of the Pentagon, the growth of the repressive forces. It's all in the interest of the capitalist class. I say, let's build the Occupy Wall Street movement, and maybe we can get rid of Wall Street altogether. Gerhard Schroeder, who was the head of the Social Democratic Party in Germany and was in a coalition with the Green Party at the time that the Eurozone was conceived, I believe in 1999, and was in power, in office rather. The capitalist class is in power. They were never in power. They were in office, and they was under their auspices that this transformation of the German labor market favorable to capital was systematically devised and instituted. Social Democrats. Yeah, I agree with Paul. I think that they have completely put the Tea Party in the shade. And the masses, it shows you, if you give people out, if you give them some real answers, and you show you're going to fight, they will gravitate towards you. The Tea Party only filled a vacuum, but that vacuum doesn't exist anymore. What's now exists and has, filled up the space is Occupy Wall Street, and that's where everybody is gravitating to. Anyway, I wanted to just say a few words about what Monica raised, about the question of youth, because it's a very important question. In the 1960s, the youth rebellion among students was driven either by the struggle against racism, especially in the civil rights movement in the South, who, the tens of thousands of youth put their bodies on the line, literally, in the face of virulent, violent, racist police action. And it was a rebellion against this, and it came from below. It came from below, and it was led. It was youth-led, and that's the way struggles, very historic struggles begin. Soon it spread to the north, and in the forms of rebellions in the cities and so on among the urban masses who were suffering from the racism. The anti-war movement started under the impact of the draft, and it became a tremendous struggle of the youth in this country. It spread to the soldiers in Vietnam, and between the youth struggle here, the revolutionary militants, and the broader masses, and the rebellion of the soldiers in Vietnam, it helped the National Liberation Front to drive the U.S. imperial